Can you push that in a little bit?
Please relax. Just take a breath or something before you start.
Oh, this, I should move this up. How do I push this up? It's over here. Okay.
Put on the brake.
This way. Guess who just got their license? Me. If you could see here, they took off like so many points. I finally got my road test and I passed. This video is basically, I guess, to share my experience with you guys with driving. Those of you who are new to driving could hopefully learn from this video.
When you go faster, you feel better. You feel like you're doing good.
Yeah.
But when you're learning, it's not good to go faster. Then you can control it. If you're gonna turn, if you need to do a big turn, fast, you cannot turn.
It feels like the car goes smoother though. Like if I drive a little
when
faster.
you drive faster, it goes smoother. It goes, yeah, but that's.
But then like once I have to like turn, then
it also depends on the road too.
That's why people get killed because fast feels nice.
Feels better, yeah.
Feels nice. Like you feel like it's going.
Lesson of the day.
And since this is a nice car, it goes fast.
Hopefully this will help some of you guys in other states. I live in New York, so obviously road rules are different, but I'm gonna basically only talk about the driving, not like rules of the road, because some of you guys are watching from like other states and even other countries, so I'm not gonna like talk generally about it. So the first thing that happened is I went to this driving school that my boyfriend told me about, and I bought a package which included a 5-hour class, which is the 5-hour class is required for everyone with a permit before taking their driving test, their road test. And I got a package that included that class. It included 2 45-minute driving lessons, the road test appointment, and the car for the road test. The first time I was kind of nervous because they were making me drive into like actual traffic. It wasn't like a abandoned parking lot or anything. Like from the get-go you're driving into traffic. So that's basically how I learned. So I learned about turning and using the signal or whatever, parking, braking, U-turns and all that stuff. And then the second time I learned parking, parallel parking, and then I practiced U-turns some more and turning and all that good stuff. And I did this in the beginning of this month, like around the first week, November. And then just yesterday, the day before my road test, my dad came and he gave me a 2-hour lesson. So I practiced U-turns nonstop. I did a bit of parking. I learned turning, signaling. He did give me a few good tips, which I will share with you what he told me.
Let me teach you the thing again. Stay on the center, like on the, like not going over there on this side. Okay, that's fine there.
All right. So.
Okay, this is what you do. You go over there.
All the way.
All the way. You look everywhere. You go. Keep going. Keep going. So right there. You don't go on. So you know you're not gonna go on the thing. Then you go put it on reverse. You're gonna go like not to go on the other side because this vehicle going. So you're only gonna block the vehicle that going over there.
Okay.
So the vehicle that going over there, they gotta keep going. The one that's coming from over there. So you're gonna go just to block this thing right here. Right there.
That's fine.
That's fine. Then put it on drive again. Then you're gonna go. You should go all the way. Keep turning.
It's all right.
Then you're gonna go. Okay.
Yay.
Okay. This is the street, right? This is going this way. It's going this way. You're going over here to do the U-turn. You're gonna get. When you're going over here, you see, most of the street are like to one over here, right? So you're gonna go over here, in this tree. You're gonna make a U-turn right here. You turn like this. You stop right here, and then you reverse you're gonna reverse, that you don't cut this tree. You gotta stay. See, you may believe this is a wall.
Yeah.
You go over here, pa, and then you go over here, this way. You have to make 3 points, like 1, 2, 3. When you're going back, if you pass here, then somebody might hit you there. So that's why you gotta stay on that side of the car, of the street, and then you go back here again.
The broken U-turn is a 3-point U-turn. So basically the way that you saw my dad doing the illustration, that's basically how you do a broken U-turn. So the way I was taught to do a broken U-turn is turning the first way, and then when you're backing up is to block all traffic, is what I learned. But my dad told me do not block all traffic, so I basically followed what he said. Yeah, but in the actual road test I didn't really have to worry about that because it was only a 2-way street. So I didn't have to worry about all these cars coming around because it was a really quiet neighborhood.
Oh nah, she turned too much.
Ooh.
Ooh.
What is? Oh nah.
She need a lot more classes.
Oh D.
Yo, I didn't even make that mistake. And she Dominican,
Okay,
I look like the Dominican.
just look what she's doing wrong, then you don't do it like that. When you put it to the car, you going in.
And then
Before you go all the way to the thing, like you see the way she go, like she went all the way in like that. No, you start turning again. So you go.
he
start
taught
going
me
like
that, like, look in the mirror, and then when you're going, once you see a triangle from the car on the sidewalk, then you turn it. That's what he told me.
He told you that so you could pay for like 4 more classes.
The parking was my biggest problem, I think. When I was driving in the driving school, I was using small cars. But when I was driving with my dad, I was driving a family van. So it was a very different... It wasn't as big of a difference driving those 2 cars, but being that the van is bigger, it was much harder to parallel park. The way I was taught parallel parking is that when you pull up next to a car, you're supposed to pull up next to a car and go mirror to mirror, lining up the mirrors of your car with the car that's parked. That's the way I was taught in the driving school. And then if you're parking on the right side of the road, you turn your wheel all the way to the right and then slowly inch your way in. When my dad told me how to park the van, he kind of sort of taught me the same way. One reason I kept messing up that parking with the van was because, not to make excuses, I think this is like a valid excuse, I guess, but the van that I was parking behind, the wheels were on the curb. So when you pull up next to a car, you're supposed to pull up at a certain distance. And I guess because the van was already on the curb, no matter how many times I tried, I was always going to hit the curb. And if you hit the curb during a road test, you fail automatically. So that's one thing I was really scared of. And so when I noticed that the van was on the curb, I adjusted and I parked and I pulled up further away from the van. And then when I did it, I parked fine. So it took me like 3 or 4 times until I finally got it right. Before the road test, the driving instructor actually gave us a pretty good tip that I actually followed during my road test. He told me that when you park, you're pulling up next to a car like normal when you're about to park, and he says that it doesn't matter if you line up the mirrors. He said that it's actually not good to line up the mirrors, that you're supposed to kind of stop right before it, and instead of turning the wheel all the way to the right, he said to turn it only once all the way around. So if you're trying to just fit your car into the parking space, it's better to turn the wheel all the way to the right, so that way you'll get all the way inside and then you can straighten up your car. When you turn the wheel once to the right, it's better for larger parking spaces because you're coming in at an angle, but you're going to end up parked further away from the car. So it's better to do that for larger parking spaces only, or if you have like a really small car. The part that scared me the most for this road test, I was doing a turn and I was going too slow, and the lady was like, "Oh, you're driving really slow, you're not even driving at all." When she said that, I was like, I failed. I probably failed this test. I was so upset. And then as soon as I stopped the car, she said, "Okay, you passed it." I was like, "Oh my god, yeah." Here's some good tips for when you're starting out in a car or when you're trying to go for your road test, that hopefully this will help you guys out from what I've learned in my experience, because I've only driven a car 4 times prior to today and I passed on my first try. So if I can do it, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys can do it too. One thing my father told me while driving is like, you have to look stupid. You have to look stupid while driving. Basically what he means by that is, sometimes people get too overconfident when they're driving. People get too overconfident and they fail the test because they think they know what they're doing. But in reality, it's just they're used to their own habits that is like not appropriate. Exaggerate your movements within the car. So if you're gonna back up, look all the way back, like break your neck, look back. She marked me off, I think because of that. It says for me it says fails to adequately observe, use caution. So what I was doing wrong is I was looking but I wasn't observing what was going on behind me. Always check your blind spots. Cars are small, so it feels like you can see everything around you, but actually it's not really true. Exaggerate your movements within the car, because that way they can clearly see that you're doing what you're supposed to do and they're not trying to play off your points or whatever. So fails to signal, like I'm pretty sure like she cheated that off of me because I signaled for everything that I did. But anyway, I got my license, so it doesn't matter anymore. Signal every time you're gonna turn your wheel. That's very, very important during your road test. You have to signal every time you're going to turn or move the car anywhere. Make sure you signal for everything, every little thing that you do, so that way they don't take those points off of you. Even if you're like gonna slide to the side a little bit, just flash your signal, you did it. You know, I was taught to, as every time you're gonna turn your wheel, use your signal. Doesn't matter what you're doing, just use your signal. Make sure you always signal when coming out of parking and going into parking. Very, very important. It's a safety precaution, I guess, and then if you don't do it, you can possibly fail. My dad told me that he failed for not signaling out of parking, and that was it. Braking is an issue for me still. But what I guess from my experience or something, in New York City, if you have a problem with braking, they take away 10 points for that. So for me, it says delayed braking, abrupt braking. So either I brake too late or I brake too suddenly, and they take away 10 points. What the hell? I can't even talk. And they take away 10 points for that. I think it's better to slowly brake than to suddenly brake. So I know I guess it's essentially bad to roll to a stop, but it's better than just and then missing the line completely and possibly failing the test. Use your mirrors. Use your mirrors to your advantage. Mirrors are movable. So if you're gonna park and you're not exactly sure, tell your instructor, can you please put the mirror down so I can see the sidewalk? You know, they're not gonna say no. Like, it's better for them to take 5 points off for that than to fail you completely because you hit the curb and you didn't know. One thing to warn you guys, I guess, cars aren't exactly as controlled as you think they are. You would tap on the pedals and let it go and you would think that it's coasting at that speed, but it's not. It rolls faster. So especially when you're going backwards, it starts to roll faster than you think it is, and it's always safe to have your foot on the brake, because if you react too late, you're basically just gonna roll really far back. You're just gonna lose control of the car. Even though these things seem really simple and common sense, it's very easy to forget these things under the pressure of having a road test. Do not forget to turn on your car, okay? Don't forget to change your gears. It happens all the time. It happened to me all the time. When I did the broken U-turn, I always forgot to reverse. So don't forget to change your gears. Don't forget to change your gears. When you're doing your U-turns, don't forget to signal every time you're going to turn the wheel. It's really easy to forget to do that because you assume that the cars already know what you're doing while you're doing a broken U-turn. But still, I guess under the law of New York City, you're supposed to signal every time you do it. Plus, they take away 5 points if you forget to signal for anything. Good luck, and hopefully this helps you out. So if you're taking your road test, let me know. Like, where are you from? Where are you taking your road test at? So yeah, now I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.